First of all, fantastic outfit as always, Sean. When you joined the UFC and started the Sugar Show, as you said, you always pictured nights, I imagine, that shone out from the rest of the sport. Going into Saturday night, is this exactly what you sort of wanted to achieve in your fighting career, doing moments like this, which are one of one?
Hell yeah. This is exactly, I mean, yeah, looking back, 2017, 2018, I was on the undercard. Well, co-main event on my debut on a not so great card. But yeah, this is what I wanted, something like this. Obviously, we didn't know the Sphere was even a thing at those times, but I wanted one-of-one kind of moments, and this is it.
You have got to take a look inside the Sphere, I understand, right? So
Wrong, brother. I haven't. I went down to Dana's little office area. They got their idea room and stuff, so that's where I kind of checked out the Sphere.
Okay. So once you did get to see that, you did get an idea of his vision for it, and then maybe this sort of co-headlining with the building itself became a bit more palatable to you?
Hell yeah. Yeah, Dana gave me goosebumps just talking about it. It was talking to Dana about anything off camera. He's the same, kind of just fired up, super inspirational to be around. But yeah, once he kind of showed me his vision of it, how much effort he's put into this, and how much work the UFC and everyone's put into this, it really gives you a different perspective on how crazy of an event this is going to be.
You're also a guy who likes to sort of in-picture moments, right, that you achieve, whether it be a highlight fight finish or something like that. When you view your own walkout in this environment, how excited are you to be able to watch that back after the fight and sort of see that moment?
For me, right now, it's like the Sphere is going to be cool for everyone else, but me, I have this. For me, it's tunnel vision. I'm walking to the cage. I'm doing what I have to do. I'll enjoy the show after. I don't let myself kind of think about all that. So, for me, it's going to be. Well, we'll see. Maybe it's going to be so crazy. I'm going to have no choice but to look around and I mean, I'll look around and take it in, but I'm not thinking about all the extra stuff.
Okay. Moving on to Merab then, I think he's one of those opponents that you sort of know what he's bringing to the table, right? He's going to spam takedowns. He's going to sort of throw a bit recklessly until he gets an opportunity to spam those takedowns. Does that make it easier for you to prepare, or does it make it a bit more dull to prepare for, knowing that you have to just do the same sort of drill again and again?
Preparation, it went great. It's everyone's sparring's just sparring. It is what it is. I enjoy training camp a lot, so it was a good camp, and him having that style is either going to work for him or it's going to get him knocked out, and we get to find out in a few days.
What do you make of Merab as a person, right? I mean, Dana White sort of called him a moron the other day with the, some of the stuff he puts on social. When you see that stuff on social, do you just see a guy who's trying to build his own brand, or do you see a guy who's making fundamental errors in what he's putting out there?
A little bit of both. Mostly stupidity. I mean, the dude jumped. He didn't know what ice was. He jumped. He didn't know if water got cold and that cold that it turns to ice. He jumped in ice onto his head. So I mean, that's the person we're talking about.
I kind of going off of that. Merab has said you've not wanted to fight him since 2018. You've said he has a punchable face. They show him on the countdown. He's like watching your fights. He's like, fuck this guy and everything. Is it personal between you, or is it just this kind of been building so much you guys are tired of thinking about each other?
A little bit of both. I think it's definitely became more personal when I knocked Aljo out. So I think that kind of made it a little bit more personal. But then I started questioning their friendship in the first place, because I knocked Aljo out, and it's like Merab's turn, but Aljo's like, no, I want a rematch. And I was like, I don't know if these guys are his friend. Then Merab going on and saying, no, I would have fought Aljo if UFC gave me a contract. So I don't really know what's going on there, but yeah.
We heard your coach say, it's hard to find guys that are like you to train with, to prepare for you. Did you have any difficulty finding guys like Merab in terms of his size or his style of fighting?
No, not really. I mean, you're never going to find someone exact for anybody. Everyone's got their own styles, but we were able to find some shorter guys that were able to come in and shoot on me during sparring. So overall, I was very, very, very happy with how sparring went and with how camp went and all.
Have you heard what, when Henry's saying, he's heard that you're having trouble getting off your back and everything? Is that just Henry talking, or what's he going off?
Well, you saw me roast that guy, right? He tried saying, he got us, Kamaru, and Kamaru was like, nah, he got you. Henry is just he's just a little guy that just gets very upset about things, and I just burned him so good that I don't know where he got my back hurts, but yeah, that's not true.
You also said, cardio doesn't mean anything when you're KO'd in the second round. So is that your official prediction for Saturday, second round knockout?
I mean, Could be first, could be second. I could knock out Merab first, second, third, or fourth or fifth. But I am leaning towards the second a little bit.
What was it like training with the Cardinals? We saw you with Kyler Murray doing some drills out there.
Damn, that was fun. Childhood dream. First love, first dream was to be in the NFL. Like, football was my favorite sport, and so to be able to go and do that was a dream come true.
Sean, right over here. Andreas from ESPN. We all know that Conor's been like the biggest star in the UFC, but should you perform what you think you're going to do on Saturday night, how close do you think you are to getting to that level of star power?
Yeah. I think I'm very close. I think Conor's still got one more big fight in him because there's a big question mark. Like, what can Conor come back? Can he actually beat Chandler? So I think Conor's got one more huge fight in him. He goes out there and loses his next fight, it'll be like 6 in a row or something. Like, it's got to die down eventually. Maybe not. That just tests how big of a star he is. But I would assume he goes out there. If he loses, I'm there. I'm the guy. I'm the number one.
Coming off of that, what do you bring that's unique that Conor doesn't bring? Like, what do you think your appeal is to fans, not just of MMA fans, but fans that are casual fans of the sport?
I bring fights. I fight often. So I think that's what it is right now. Conor was good on the mic. The accent, the words that he chose, he was very good on the mic. Performances, he had a couple good performances. But I'm consistent right now. I'm fighting a lot, so that's what I bring.
Last thing for me, I know there was a time that you talked about boxing. Have you pushed that to the back? Are you still considering one day to get into the boxing ring?
Someday. Yeah. Right now, it's not a focus at all. Like, Merab's the focus. I have big fights after. I mean, I've said Ilya, I've said Max, there's Umnar, there's Figgy. There's a lot of options for me right now that I don't think it's that time. But there will be a time when it's, Conor Floyd was requested by the fans. There's gonna be, if I go out there and keep knocking people out, it's going to be intriguing.
Sean, over here. What are your thoughts on Merab embracing the Mexican fans and culture these past couple of months? Do you think that's more of a promotional move by him to just try and get people to sway towards him?
Yeah, the dude pretends to be Georgian, then he pretends to be American, now he pretends to be Mexican. He's all over the place, but he's doing his best. Can't hate on it.
And I know obviously a big focus not only on the fights but the Sphere. I mean, I'm sure you heard a lot about that already. But being back in Vegas for you, I know Vegas has always been a city you like to fight in, and you wanted to be on last December pay-per-view. So I guess how does it feel for you just to be back in Las Vegas?
God, it feels great. It feels like we're home. My first, I think, we'll count in the Contender Series, I think my first 10 fights were here in Vegas. So feels so good to be home. Feels good. The short fight week in Boston or in Abu Dhabi, I was there like 17 days early. Boston, I was there Sunday. Miami, I was there Monday. This week we got in Tuesday afternoon. Fight week's gonna feel nice and short, and I'm very excited to be back in Vegas.
And speaking of the Contender Series, a lot of people, when you talk to them about the Contender Series, they think about your performance when Snoop Dogg was on. The show has come a long way since that performance. So what do you make of the show's progress and all the talent that's coming out of the show?
Yeah, sweet. I mean, the cage is right there. When I was fighting, I think it was actually in here as well. But the whole production of it it's improved a ton. So, when I fought in the Contender Series, I definitely wasn't here. It came a long way.
And back to your career, obviously, there's a couple guys that have their names in their hat for it to be next. So if you get past Merab, who do you think should be more deserving of a fight, whether it's a Figueiredo or an Umar Nurmagomedov? What do you think?
I'll say this just so it gets clipped. Merab probably won't see the whole thing. He'll probably just see this. I think Umnar is more deserving to fight me right now than Merab. I don't really mean that, but Merab's going to see that and fucking freak out. He has this weird thing against Umnar. He got asked about him, and he left. He's like, who's Umar? He just doesn't think he's deserving. So I'm sure that'll get clips sent to him, and he'll freak out. But as far as who's next, it's definitely not Umar. It could be. It could be Figgy. Could be Ilya. There's options. Right now, it's pointless. I got to go out there and take care of Merab's, but we got options after.
If it were to be Umar, could you think that would be the closest thing to another Conor Khabib build-up?
Absolutely. I mean, Irish, Russian. I mean, it's there for the big fight.
Last one for me. You mentioned Ilya. Ilya has a big fight with Max Holloway coming up. How do you see that one going at UFC 308?
Honestly, I think Max might piece him up. Ilya's very, very skilled. Ilya's, up there top 3 pound for pound, in my opinion. So I'm very, very excited for that fight. I haven't been this excited for a fight for a while, so I'm looking forward to that one, but I think Max potentially could piece him up.
Sean, back over here. How different was this camp compared to Aljamain Sterling? Both teammates, both like to wrestle. That camp, you were injured with a rib, so like you were kind of limited on the wrestling. Like, how different was this camp?
I would say that camp, I would give it a D+. Like, I was able to still run. I was still able to do my hill sprints. I was still able to hit mitts. I was able to get in good, like, kickboxing shape. But as far as, like, jiu-jitsu shape, grappling shape, there was, from 6 weeks out to the fight, there was none, 0. So that camp wasn't necessarily great. This camp, I'd give it an A. I think this camp's been fucking excellent, and it needs to be, because Merab's very, very dangerous. So it needed to be a good camp. It was a good camp, and I'm excited to go out there and perform for everyone.
How bummed were you to not have Tommy compete on the Contender Series?
Yeah, that sucks, man. He'll grow from it. It'll be a learning lesson. It's a learning lesson to everybody in the gym. It's like, when you're that close to the fight, we gotta be smarter. And but yeah, that was tough. But it'll go by fast. He'll be back. He'll be on it, and he'll do his thing.
And finally, for me, was there a Mexican fighter in the UFC that you liked watching, or that inspired you?
A Mexican fighter. I just think of Kelvin Gastelum off the top of my head. His fight versus Izzy, that was the first one that came to my mind. But Mexicans are they're always fun. They're always in a good fight. They're always tough. They're hard as fuck to knock out. And but yeah.
Sean over here. Sean, going back to Contender Series, obviously some fighters get built up outside the promotion and then they come over and it's a big deal. What benefit do you feel you've had specifically pretty much growing up under the UFC banner?
Yeah, each fight you get to go and perform on the UFC under the UFC platform is a huge benefit. Like, there's just no eyeballs anywhere else like the UFC. So for me to be able to go there and build myself from when I started to now, it's like every fight I become a little bit more popular, and so it's a huge benefit doing that under the UFC.
I've got a couple more for your reaction. Do you think Merab should have to give you back your jacket if you win?
He doesn't have it. He borrowed it because I gave it to him. His nose looks like a fucking coat hanger. I was talking shit to Aljo. That's the thing. You clearly see in the video that I take my jacket off and I put it on the handle. People's like, "Oh, Merab stole your jacket." He didn't steal it. I let him hold it for me. So I still have it.
And then the last one, just for the record, do you feel you're more Mexican than Merab, headlining Mexican Independence Day?
100%. I have a Mexican family.
Thank you.
Sean, right over here. In the past year, just how would you describe what being a champion has been like? Winning the title in Boston, defending it, just how would you describe what that's been like?
Before I was champ, I told myself I need to live like I'm the champ. As far as what I'm doing, training, what I'm doing outside the gym, I need to live like a champion if I want to become a champion. So I've been doing it for a while. Same shit, like train, recover, COD, train. Like, it's a very basic lifestyle for the most part.
Back last September, you got to go up to Missoula and celebrate with the Grizzly football team. Got to be celebrated at the stadium in front of thousands of fans. Can you just describe what that was like, being celebrated in Montana in front of a stadium like that?
Yeah, that was cool. That was felt good to go back home and be celebrated. Montana's, I'm born and raised there. It kind of molded me as a fighter, so yeah, it was cool.
And then not long after that, you did the Town Pump event in Helena. Like, do those events mean more because it's where you grew up when you look back at it?
Yeah, it's funny just going to places like my hometown and seeing high schoolers stand in line to get a picture with me. Like, I would have been standing in line to see someone that had made it from hometown. So I saw a lot of my younger selves in those guys. So yeah, it was cool.
And then your siblings have been a big part of your life as well, and we're going to be speaking with them tomorrow. But Michael has obviously had kind of a remarkable story in his own right, and kind of a path for himself. Like as his younger brother, what's it like kind of seeing the trials and tribulations your older brother has powered through to kind of get to where he is now?
Yeah, I thought that dude was definitely going to be dead. I lived in Arizona for like 8 years before he did. He was back in Montana, addicted to drugs, like way off on the deep end. And I thought that dude, I completely emotionally was not attached to him at all. Like I thought he was gonna die eventually. So for him to get sober, move to Arizona, and like be a part of my life now is it's inspiring, honestly, because addiction's no joke, and he's battles it every day, but he's winning. So it's cool to see.
How proud are you of him, and how much does he mean to you, just knowing his path?
Very proud of him.
Last one for me. Obviously, you talked about Tommy McMillan. Just what can you say about him as a fighter? Another up-and-coming Montana guy. Just how would you describe just his ability as an undefeated pro?
Yeah, Tommy's very durable, very fucking skilled, good mindset, and I'm excited to watch his career play out.
Thanks, Sean.
Sean, you said you ranked Ilya top 3 pound for pound. Where do you feel that you rank in your own pound for pound?
Number 1, of course.
All right, then who's number 2?
John Jones. He's got fucking dogs. He shoots guns. No, I'm joking.
Sean, one more, please.
Yeah.
Who would be your dream artist to perform a concert at the Sphere?
Damn, dream artist. That's tricky because there's so many, but I know that Mexican OT is coming out to support, so that's dope.
Hey, great choice. Thank you, man.
Yep. Peace.